Hey, I hope my phone doesn't die on me by the time I record this review. Yeah, so I was pretty excited tonight. I originally had Saltburn in the morning, then work, then this. And I canceled Saltburn to see it tomorrow. So technically, yeah, I lost out on one of my reservations for AMC A-List to see a movie. I just wanted to sleep in. I don't know why I was tired. I went to bed like at 2 a.m. and I got up at like 3. I slept fucking forever. I'll just be honest. Tonight I just wanted to sleep. I don't know. So I didn't see Saltburn, but I am seeing it tomorrow. But I did go see the brand new Nicolas Cage A24 film, Dream Scenario, which is directed by Christopher Bregorley. I don't know the exact way to say his name, but he directed the film Sick of Myself, which I did see a few years ago. I think it was 2 or 3 years ago. And I did really enjoy that film. And honestly, I was looking forward to seeing how he would do with, a film that's like fully like in English American film. And it's under A24's production, so I was like very fascinated. But also the fact that on the star-studded cast level, it's got Nick Cage, it's got Tim Meadows, there's appearances by Dylan Baker, Michael Cera's in it. It's got like a bigger American known cast, and obviously A24, when it comes to independent, more original films that they put out, they're the big name of that. So I was curious how this was going to go. And from the trailer, it looked like part very awkward tension comedy, and then part character study, perhaps like suspense or thriller from some of the creepy scenes that they hint at in the trailer. The best way to put it, honestly, is it's a mixture of a lot of genres. It's kind of at first more of a quirky, awkward comedy, like I had thought, and then it kind of delves into like the character study mind of cancel culture, and then it gets to more of a suspense and dramatic and like kind of a heartbreaking level to the shit that like everything leads to. But it's just so cool, honestly, to see Nicolas Cage play a fucking loser. He does. I would say this character, and the best way to describe it, is like an absolute loser. I've heard people say like, yeah, that's what Leonardo DiCaprio is in Killers of the Flower Moon. He's kind of like an idiot loser, and yes, he is. And it's very funny to follow that up with now a performance. I don't know if it's gonna get to the Oscar buzz level. It seems like we got Paul Giamatti in there, Leonardo DiCaprio in there, Cillian Murphy. So I'm not 100% sure if this gets him a leading nom. He's worthy of it. He's really good in this film. And Nicolas Cage was worthy back when Pig came out like a few years ago. And it's honestly great because it's so funny to see that like kind of flip returns. Some of the people that I saw it with this movie tonight mentioned like, yeah, Nicolas Cage kind of is a person who had his big hit, his big break in like the 2000s, or like very, very late 90s, early 2000s to like mid 2000s. Like that was Nicolas Cage's big break. And then it took a fall off. He just started doing anything. And as of recent now, it's kind of like he can do anything that he wants. And playing a role of this person who, in the eyes of the light, has become sort of like what a meme would be, or like this huge popular icon on accident, not because he's like actually famous or unique, or because people like recognize him. It's because they recognize him for something completely different than like you would actually, say you recognize the person for, like seeing them in your dreams, not because they're an actor or a famous celebrity or an author, which he is the whole movie trying to get like this book published and make that like a big part of his like, kind of like career. That's what he wants to be known as. Even though he's in people's dreams, he hopes to take advantage by using that to help him grow like his book sales and become like a bigger author when he does eventually write a book and sell it. And it's just so funny, this downfold, because it starts out like kind of awkward comedy, and then it's like, oh, well, now he's in the fame part and is very happy, and then it starts to go down a little bit where it like becomes this awkward tension. He's not necessarily getting the things he wants out of it. There's a very awkward encounter with this woman about midway through the movie. I won't say. It was the funniest scene of the movie, and I would not want to spoil it. Fucking awesome. It's awkward as hell, and it goes on so long, but it just like, probably like the most like drawn out but best and funny scene in the movie. It's great. And then it delves into like the dark, more suspense, fucked up territory, where this character is just having an emotional breakdown because he can't control anything, and nobody wants him around anywhere because they're like, hey, you're starting to like do some fucked up shit to us in the dreams. And his claim is like, but I'm not actually doing that. It's like a psychological state. You are having that idea about dream theory. You're thinking that this is happening to you actually, and it's putting in your psychosis that I am actually an awful and harmful person. But in reality, Nicolas Cage would not harm a fly. This guy's kind of a goofy ass loser. Although he does get to a point, like later in the film, where he starts to be pushed to his limits. Not that he does anything like fucking horrendously horrible. It just like, you can start to see that he is getting more angry and more depressed and more emotional about everything that's happening, because he's not really typically that guy. He's the average, everyday Joe who just kind of He's a teaching professor. He's kind of awkward. He stutters a bit. He doesn't know how to handle himself in conversation. And honestly, he's done like nothing really grand with his career or life. He's just kind of the character that you would inform as a loser. And honestly, like, I thought that element of the movie was like pretty fucking charming. It provided a lot of laughs for me, I will be honest. Like, especially in the first half, I was like, this shit is like so cringy and awkward, but it's like so perfect for Nick Cage to like be in that fitting role. I thought he did like an excellent job with it. And when I hope people go see the film, even if the story is not as interesting to you, and I'll admit, like, the film probably could have been about 10 minutes shorter. There's like the final like 10 minutes are kind of like an additional ending that I don't really know was needed. It was interesting, and I actually liked the very, very final scene kinda, but other than that, I didn't feel it was like amazing of an ending, especially for where it left our character necessarily. But I did enjoy like what it was kind of saying, even if it didn't 100% portray it as great as I think they did. I don't think it needed to be there necessarily for what they were doing. But overall, I thought that this film was extremely entertaining. There's a lot of the dream sequences are very unique. They make them feel like dreams. They nail that, like, that balance between reality and, like, what's fake, like, in a dream. Something of, like, a magical state. They're not, like, too over the top where you're like, that's, like, not grounded enough. They find that right balance of where, like, no, dreams are, like, you kind of look around and there's, like, random shit that you vividly remember about it, and then there's the main subject matter that feels so realistic even though it's actually fake. And there's like lots of little details here and there throughout all the dream sequences that you'll see when you watch the film that completely depict that very well. And Nicolas Cage just being in the dreams, just a bonus. I wish Nick Cage was in my dreams every night. Maybe I'll dream about him tonight. Who knows? This film might have put that into my brain, and now it's like, yeah, when you go to bed and you have your melancholic sleep, we're going to throw that shit in your head. Have fun. But yeah, I enjoyed the film. I thought it was very entertaining. I think Nick Cage is great. I think it's a film that has quite a few discussion pieces to be talked about. And I think in terms of a film that handles cancel culture, I think that subject matter, I think it's like not too forced in your head here. I think it's a bit better done here than a lot of other films. And I did quite enjoy it, and I would recommend it. I would give it an 8 out of 10. Again, that's just because of a slightly weak ending, and I do think it could be cut down a little bit. But yeah, it feels like it overstays its welcome a little bit, and the message is like, we've already kind of got it. We don't need this last thing. But the last thing, while like kind of creative, it does feel just like a thrown-in thing to find a better way to make that ending make sense. And I thought it was okay for what they did, but not great. But I did enjoy the very last scene, I'll say that. Yeah, if you have a chance to go see it, it is in theaters wide now. Although, I say that, and it's like, last week it hit like a limited wide release kind of, like it hit some theaters near me like Alamo Drafthouse stuff. Now it's hitting like the AMC's and Cinemarks this week, and then I see next week it's hitting like Studio Movie Girls and Regals near me. So it seems like it's expanding kind of continuously every week. So if it's not playing near you now, I'd say give it till next week. It'll probably be very much everywhere next week. And I honestly, this is one I do want to hear people's thoughts on, especially from like my friends and family. If I could see this again and it's in theaters long enough, I would like to see this with my dad. I think he would enjoy it, and I very much did enjoy it. So yeah. What's next up on the docket for me to review while I drive home? I believe it should be Saltburn and Silent Night tomorrow. I also hope to see Godzilla really late, but there's a possibility I might be meeting a friend and going to see Thanksgiving again because he has not seen it. So it depends on if he's still down for that. If not, if that is the case, don't worry. Saltburn, Silent Night should be tomorrow or the next day, but Godzilla might be a bit later on down the line. But I do want to see Godzilla -1. I've avoided the trailers for it, but I saw this clip this morning. I was like, this shit looks intense. I'm very interested. And the reviews for it, almost every review I've said it's the best Godzilla film ever. That's fucking insane. So I'm interested. Yeah, definitely. So yeah, see you with more thoughts on those movies, and let me know what you thought about Dream Scenario. We all love Nick Cage, don't we? I don't know another way to end it. I don't know another way to end this one. Bye!